According to the American Heart Association, one of the leading organizations in heart health research and education, a heart attack in the US occurs about every 40 seconds. Would you be able to recognize the warning signs if one were to occur? Would you know what to do in order to prevent the heart attack or possibly save a life? These are important things to know how to do just in case a heart attack does eventually occur. Heart disease is one of the leading causes of death worldwide. In every country around the world, it is a common cause of deaths. Anyone can have a heart attack at any time, anywhere. So being able to prevent it or save a life if possible is another thing that could be very important. One of the people that lost to a heart attack was very close to me. It was my father, who passed away not too long ago. Heart attacks can be prevented, however, with proper precautions, and knowing what to do in the case that a heart attack does occur is a very, very important thing. I'm Jacob Bueller, and today I'm going to be going over what heart attacks are, their causes, their signs, and ways to prevent them in order to save lives. To begin, I'll preview my 3 main points that I'll be covering in this speech: the causes of heart attacks, the warning signs and the effects of heart attacks, and prevention and response when a heart attack does in the event that a heart attack does occur. Now that you know what we're going to be covering today, let's begin with what causes heart attacks and what the most common and what heart attacks are. What causes a heart attack? As reported by Mayo Clinic, a trusted medical organization in health information and research, a heart attack is when blood flow to the heart is blocked off, so the heart does not receive enough oxygen and in effect heart cells begin to die off. A heart attack is a process with multiple steps. These steps include fat, cholesterol, or substance building up, leading to plaque in the arteries. Once plaque forms in the arteries, a condition called atherosclerosis sets in. This condition is the most commonly leads to plaque rupture. Once plaque ruptures, blood clots form, as that is the natural response that the body gives to an injury that it believes is inside the body. And when blood clots form, oxygen gets blocked off, and thus heart tissue begins to get damaged and heart cells are lost. Common risk factors of heart attacks include high blood pressure, smoking, high cholesterol, diabetes, obesity, and poor diet. Now that I've covered what causes a heart attack, let's shift to recognize usual yet possibly subtle signs of heart attacks. Based on the findings of the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, common symptoms of heart attack include chest pain and pressure, pain in the arms, neck, jaw, back, or stomach, shortness of breath, cold sweat, nausea, and lightheadedness. Symptoms may vary based on the case of the heart attack, but these are the most common ones that you should always look out for. In the event that any of these do show up, you should be ready to take action. Women have less obvious signs than men, including fatigue, nausea, and dizziness. So even though they may not seem very severe, you should always look out for them, especially if a woman is experiencing those signs. What happens during a heart attack? Well, first, blocked arteries stop oxygen-rich blood from reaching the heart cells, which begin to die within minutes. Then, the longer you wait without treatment, the higher the risk of permanent damage or even death that can result from the heart attack, which is why it's important to act quickly and properly in the event that a heart attack does occur. After reviewing what goes on during a heart attack, including common symptoms and signs, let's move on to proper precautions, preventions, and long-term things that can be taken in order to prevent heart attacks from ever occurring in the first place or treating them if they do end up occurring. There are 3 ways to respond when a heart attack does occur: immediate response, medical treatment, and long-term prevention. To begin, I'll start with immediate response. Always call 911. The faster EMS services can arrive, the faster a life could be saved. Minutes matter. If EMS arrives quicker, there can be less permanent damage. Then, if you're able, perform CPR. If someone that is trained on that is nearby, you should always call them over to help and assist you. Then, let's move on to medical treatment. Apply medication that the person may have, use stents to open blocked arteries, or perform emergency surgery if needed. All 3 of these things are common things that are taken after the immediate prevention is enabled. Then there's long-term prevention. A healthy diet, exercise, avoiding smoking, managing cholesterol, and managing your blood pressure are all great ways to prevent a heart attack from occurring in the first place. These actions can stop one from occurring at all, which can prevent any deaths that could have or possibly would have happened. Now that I've gone over ways to prevent heart attacks, here are major takeaways. Most of all, remember these 3 facts. First, a heart attack is when blood flow to the heart is blocked. This can result in oxygen not going to the heart and heart cells begin to die. Second, warning signs, if noticed, should never be ignored. They should also never go unnoticed, so you should know what to look out for. If you do in an event that you do see these warning signs, always treat them or take precaution if necessary. Call 911 even if it doesn't seem severe, because if the EMS arrives faster, it could be the difference between a life and death situation. Lastly, take quick action and enact healthy lifestyles for the future. These 2 things can save lives or prevent heart attacks from occurring at all, and this can severely lower the chances and risks of heart attacks in general. To end, when a heart attack occurs, there may not always be a next time. Acting quickly and properly can be the difference between life or death for someone you love. Thank you.